was always so confident and brave, and he was known and looked to by so many of his peers. And not only was he a friend to so many of his classmates and students that were older than him, but he was also an example to those that were younger than him. Jarren I also remember him being really competitive, but it didn't matter if it was academics or athletics, like no matter what it was, he always gave 110%. Like he gave everything that he had. He would leave it all on the court, on the field, no matter what it was. And he was a really big blessing to this school, and he was really loved by our community as a whole, and I'm so grateful for the laughs and the memories that we got to share with him. He was such a cool kid, and he was really inspiring to us. So now I would like to take some time to open it up to all of you, to anyone who wants to share their memories of Jarren. Be sure to speak up too, because it's kind of hard to hear.
All right, y'all can go ahead and sit down. You know how long I can talk.
Gotta go.
All right, so when I was in the 8th grade, I had East with Ethan and Jarren. So needless to say, there was never a dull moment. We were always cracking jokes and we were always laughing. Well, any of you that have been in East class before know that the whole class revolves around a group project, a project of some sort. So Ethan and Jarren decided that they wanted their project to be a video or a movie of some kind. More specifically, a parody of The Office. Ethan and I were just starting to watch The Office back then, and so we were super excited about it. I don't know how we got there, but we were set on The Office. So Ethan, Jarren, Drew, Noah, Nick, and a whole bunch of others were the cast of this parody of The Office. And naturally, I was the Dwight character. Now, because Jarren was so funny and so witty and so clever, he wrote most of my lines. And most of them were original, except for one that we stole from Talladega Nights, about the party Jesus. We stole that one from Talladega Nights. But hanging out with and making videos with Jarren was definitely the highlight of East that year. You know, Jarren was the definition of a people person. He was kind, he was bold, and he wasn't afraid to get out of his comfort zone. And he was hilarious. Jarren overall was a friend to everyone he met. And if Jarren in his story has taught me anything, it's that this world is not our home. We're just passing through. And our window of opportunity and influence is very, very small. And so, carpe diem, seize the day. If there's a relationship you need to fix, fix it. If you need to tell someone that you care about them and love them, tell them how you feel, because who knows, we may not be here tomorrow. You know, as the years go by, there are people, places, things, memories that start to fade. But I will never, never forget Jarren. And his legacy lives on forever. That's all I have to say.
Alright, so I guess my really earliest memory of Jarren was probably 2nd grade. That's whenever he kind of moved here, and really we didn't socialize a whole lot. But about, 4th grade, kind of whenever Pee Wee football got started, Jarren was our quarterback from 4th grade to 6th grade. He decided not to play 7th grade year, but I always remember for some, I don't know, looking back on it, I was like, wow, that was so stupid, why? But all throughout Pee Wee football, I did not like Jarren's orders. It was pretty funny. And, part of the reason is because, obviously, in any sport that you play or kind of anything that you really do, it takes a little bit to, figure it out, And so probably around, my 5th grade year, I'd say, I kind of, started figuring it out. And I was like, oh, yeah, I like football. I like hitting people and stuff. And I can remember, multiple times, Jarren would have the ball and he'd roll out and I'd be on, scout D because, obviously I didn't start. And, and I'd hit Jarren, hard, and I was kind of expecting him to, be on the ground, not get up. But every time it was ooh, nice hit. Next time hit me harder. And I was like, what the crap, what? like, and it made me so mad, so mad. But the funny thing is like all throughout that, like in practice, it just made me go harder, like every time. And looking back on it, like that was one of the things that kind of like, I'd say like taught me to kind of push myself to, to go a little bit harder, and kind of just like push myself past that limit that, maybe I thought I could just, hit this hard. I'm just using football as like a kind of a reference, but like I thought I could just hit this hard, but he's pushing me, and I know that I can, hit a little bit harder. So that's kind of that's something that stuck with me. Something about Jarren that's just like, not a lot of people don't really have is just he carried out that walk everywhere he went. It didn't matter where it was. He stayed, true to who he was. Pee Wee basketball, I was probably the worst basketball player ever. I could make one shot on the court, and it was like a side shot, and I really only made that like half the time anyway. But like, it was so funny because, obviously Jarren had some moves with the ball, like the dude had some handles. But he always told me, he's like, dude, I was like, I'm just gonna get down to the court and I'll pass you the ball. And I was like, dude, you're gonna pass it to me? It's like, all right. And he always made a point, like, every game I knew that Jarren was gonna be like looking for me to pass it to. And that just, it kind of stuck with me. It's like he made a point to always, get me the ball or something, and that's just like, it's the little things like that that just kind of stuck with me, and like all, like with him kind of like showing me that and teaching me that, and like I said, Jarren always stuck with his walk. It just like, it teaches me to go, going on through high school, going on through new things, like new people that I always see, like a freshman, it makes like I want to go up and talk to him, I don't want to be that person that's like, dude, you're a freshman, I hate you. But like, it's kind of like, hey man, what's up? You liking high school so far? Little kids, like working with them, playing two-hand touch football with them at football camp. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get you the ball. I'm gonna get you the ball. Like handing it to the kid that probably isn't gonna get the ball a whole lot. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna let you get the ball. But I would just say, like, what really stuck with me is just like how Jarren carried out his walk and stayed true to his walk. And I think that that's kind of a challenge that should be a challenge to all of us this year. Is like, we need to do kind of maybe even a better job, or we need to challenge ourselves to staying true to our walk with Christ, and that we just need to go out and, try to make a difference, kind of like Jarren did. So.
What's up, guys? So, like Cooper, I met Jarren when I was in 2nd grade. We had the same class together. He just moved here. We were in Miss Tice's class, which is Cole's mom. So that was pretty cool. As soon as he had moved here, he was always pretty social. He always made friends. And so, I mean, that drawed me towards him. He was always friendly. And so that's where our friendship sort of started. And some of my best moments that I remember from him were through middle school, 7th and 8th grade. And middle school is tough because it's not high school, and you're not a little kid anymore, so your body's going through changes. It's a weird time. But middle school, 8th grade, I remember we had Hislish together right after lunch, which Hislish, if any of you have had it, it's a terrible class. It's very miserable. But we had it right after lunch, and for some stupid reason, we after we'd eat lunch, we'd go to recess. So we would just wait until the bell rang. When the bell rang, me and Jarren would race each other to Hislish, which was on the opposite building. It was on the farthest building from the lunchroom. So we would race there, see how fast we could get there, which was stupid, but it was something we did because we were middle schoolers. And we had Hislish. It was me, Jarren, and Drew was in that class too. And if you know anything about Jarren and Drew, they were very silly, especially together. And so we would sit in little clumps, the little tables. They were like the desks, groups of 3. And it was me, Jarren, and Drew, and we'd sit there. And during Miss Mitten and Miss Nation's lectures about whatever it may be, it'd be really quiet, and Drew would look at Jarren and I, and he'd make really stupid faces. Out of nowhere, he'd just be sitting there, and he'd do something stupid, and it'd make Jarren and I laugh really hard. And Miss Mitten and Miss Nations would always ask, "Why are you two laughing?" We couldn't control ourselves. But yeah. So 8th grade held a lot of memories for me and Jarren. Aside from that, we also had GT, like Bo said, and we had East, which that video is somewhere on the internet, somewhere on my computer. You guys need to find it. It's hilarious. But I remember one time in 8th grade, one memory that sticks out to me a lot from my time being friends with Jarren. I went over to his house a lot. We were really close friends. And I went over to his house one night, and there used to be this video game. It was really cool. It was on the Xbox 360, if you remember that far back. And it was called NCAA Football 14, which, you know, in its time was the greatest video game of all time. Because there was a mode on it called Road to Glory mode, where you got to start, you got to make your own player, you got to raise them through high school and then go to college, which is cool because I like college football way more than NFL. So we loved the NCAA Football 14 game. And when I got to Jarren's house, he had that game. He had a lot of the sports games. And he was like, dude, we're going to stay up all night and we're going to play this game. And I was like, are you crazy? We can't do that. Because I was like, you know, I don't know how old I was in 8th grade, 13, 14. But I was like, no, we can't stay up all night. But we did. We stayed up. We created our own character. We mixed our names together to make this guy. We mixed the name Jarren Sorters and Ethan Skates, and we made Jathan Scortez. I think I've told Jake and Cooper about that one time. It's really dumb, but we gave him really long, cool dreads, so he's really cool. But we would stay up all night playing this game, and it was like, it's weird because the purpose of the game is, you know, to go through all 4 years of college, and you can't go through, you know, 4 years worth of football games in college in one night. But we would try to anyway, and we'd always end up falling asleep. But, you know, there's too many memories in my mind of who Jarren was and our friendship together. But I can tell you, just like all of my best friends who are really, really close to him can tell you, that he was a friend to all. He was a great guy. Whatever it came to, he would always find a way to relate to you, too. You know, he would always come up to you and be like, hey, you like sports? Because he knew a lot about sports, you know. If he didn't know somebody and he's like, hey, do you play basketball? Do you play baseball? Do you play football? He would connect to them in that way. And even if they didn't, he was like, I mean, he liked to read. He was really smart. He was a smart kid. He could relate to people in a lot of ways that, you know, were years before. He was matured years before, like, we were, you know. Like, he could connect in ways that I, at that age, could not connect to people. So like I said, in 2nd grade, I was really drawn to him because of the way that he showed friendship in ways that I couldn't. And I think a lot of people saw that. And I think one of the greatest things that throughout his lifetime that I learned from him was how to connect to other people and how to show friendship even when there might not even be like a sliver of common ground. You can still show love and show friendship to people you know, people you don't know, and always lend a friendly hand. So that's what I have.
Do you have anyone else who'd like to share about Jarren? You would? Awesome.
Yeah, I got one. Alright, so I am a year younger than Jarren. I never had the opportunity to be in any classes with him. But back when they lived in Valley View, we used to have some awesome sledding adventures. Back when it actually snowed in Arkansas. So I want to say I was in 6th grade. It was like winter break. So Jarren was in the grade above me, Jackson was below me, and then Cole, my little brother, who's an idiot, he's like, I don't know, he's way too young, but you gotta hang out with the big kids. Anyways, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Valley View, know where my house is at, but next to my house is good old Papa Fid's house, Grandpa Fiddler, and he's got this big hill that goes right into this creek. You know, ideal for sledding, obviously. And so the parents are like, you know what, yeah, we'll let them sled there, we're just gonna make a big chain at the end. So when the kids come down at 85 miles an hour, we'll just stop them. Joey did a great job, except for one time.
Oh, wait. I was at the top.
Oh, yeah, he pushed us. He got us the speed.
The mom's at the bottom.
Yeah.
Jumped down the way to let y'all go in the creek.
Yeah. So we're in this big tube, all 4 of us, And Jarren and I are next to each other, then Cole and Jackson's across from us. And we're going down, we're just spinning, going, and then poof, no one's there. We like skip over a little rock and land in the water, but like right on the shore, so that only Jarren and I are in the water, of course. So Cole and Jackson had a great time, and I'm over there like, And I remember we get out and we've got blankets, and I look at Jarren, and I'm all like frizzled, PTSD or whatever. And Jarren's like, ooh, that's a little chilly. And I just remember laughing so hard. And it's, I don't know, he just did such a great job. Even these situations that didn't seem, you know, fun or ideal, he just made them, it's one of my favorite memories. I feel like he did that with a lot of people. Like with Pislish, your terrible class. I feel like you really made that into something that you can enjoy. And he did that with a lot of things. Yeah, I'll never forget it.
Would anyone else like to share? We're gonna sing one final song, so I don't know where that thing is. Okay, and then we'll close out in prayer after that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Crazy. Such a stud. I'm just gonna leave it running. Who cares? During the service.